So I guess my first question is to Steve and Adam as to why you guys decided to do this brush DVD now and what the impetus for it was.
Adam, why don't you set it up?
You know, I feel very fortunate that I've been able to, having grown up in the New York area, from the time I was, first interested in playing the drums, and when I got to be around 12, 13, I'd come into the city, and I was able to see a lot of these gentlemen here at this table play, and a lot of other ones who have left us and ones that were not able to be part of this, but I've been able to watch guys play, and not just hear them. And I was able to see how everybody, specifically with the brushes, I mean, everybody when they play has their own personality with what they do, but everybody had their own kind of choreography, so to speak, with the brushes, and everybody was a little different. And I was inspired by a lot of these gentlemen, and they in turn were inspired by their elders, and I was inspired by a lot of them as well, having done my homework. And I figured, man, I've seen this. So the kids that grow up in a place where they don't have that opportunity, they need to see it too. And we need to get it documented while there's these gentlemen still here with us. Because the whole thing is you learn from everybody, you see what they do, and this gives somebody a chance to see some masters at work and get an idea about how they can formulate their own approach, because there is no one way to do it. And that was something that I thought was needed for what's coming on with at the DVDs and education and things like that, to give people information, because now with everybody being able to watch things, and it gives people a chance that don't see it firsthand to see what it's about, because you need to see the brushes more than just hearing it.
Almost more than the sticks to a degree, because the sticks are so laid out in a million
Sticks is one thing, but brushes you really need to see it. You need to see it. You
see
can hear it with the sticks, but you really need to see the brushes. And I felt that I wanted to try to do something for the future generations, just like these gentlemen have been able to pass on some of what they have to somebody like me and Steve, and they in turn were influenced by people like Max and so this is part of something to do, and I wanted to do something to give something back for the future generations, because this is something that they always say it's a dying art. Well, there's no reason for it to be dying. It should be alive and well.
But is it, Steve, is it a lost art at this point?
No, definitely it's not. But
It's ignored.
It's not. There's not that much application, of course, in most pop music. And,
but there could.
That's what we're hearing.
Well, yeah, because unfortunately, a lot of young drummers don't even have brushes in their stick bag.
Don't even have them.
They come to work without no brushes at all.
And the point that I found when I started to investigate the brushes was that it made me aware of the duration of the sound. You're not just playing the beat, you're playing the sound between the beats. So it made me aware of that space, and that really helped my stick playing, because I became aware of not just the ding, ding, but the ding, ding, and that duration of time. Because the sound between the beats, that space, is something you play with the brushes. 1, 2, 3, you play that. So that really helped my stick playing and just helped my groove. So I think that it's something that can enhance any drummer's abilities.
I've been surprised at, well, not totally mystified, but I was a bit surprised that with the electronics that we have today, that the brushes wouldn't be, because now with the electronics you can magnify the sound, and you get the swish as loud as you want it, so you can do some, a lot of the stuff that you do with the brushes, utilizing the swish, that sound, now with the whole electronic thing, you can do some bad stuff, but nobody
will deal with that. They just
hopefully this will inspire
no backbeat.
Some,
that's right.
especially some young drummers to incorporate this, and then in turn inspire some other young drummers and revitalize.
I think the brush technique is another thing that probably turns off with our young drummers.
Right. What do you mean? Why does the technique turn them off? Because it's hard.
Because the young drummers all want to play like Tony Williams or Grabowski or somebody, which is okay. But so they're all into the stick thing. The brush technique the technique of brushes is entirely different. I mean, you can play brushes like you stick, but if you're gonna get the full effect of the brushes, you got to deal with the sweep, which is a whole different technique.
Well, it's a much more mysterious technique, though, isn't it? It isn't laid out. Like I think there's only one real drum book, Billy Joe Jones' drum book.
Yeah, but
that's where for
you can't learn from
you can't learn from a book.
They had some. Papa Joe had some stuff out.
Clayton Cameron.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, but you can't. I don't think you can learn to play brushes that way.
the brush technique is too personal. It's a personal thing. Everybody plays it, and you saw on the stage.
Yeah.
Everybody plays the brushes different.
Yeah.
So you really can't document it out of a book.
Is that why it is sort of a mysterious art even now?
Probably so.
Well, you know, basically too, when I first started really getting my brush technique is when I worked with Mary Lou Williams. All she would let me bring to the job was the snare drum and the sock cymbal. So for 6 weeks in the clubs, I was playing brushes on the snare drum and sock cymbal. So I had to develop a technique to make it interesting every night, because boy, you would run out of town.
So you developed a very personal technique as well. That's probably true for all of you.
Plus the fact too, in those days we worked with a lot of singers.
Right.
So I developed how to sing the song while I was playing. See, because all these drummers here would be singing the song while they're playing.
Literally singing the
you
song.
know, so you're not only playing time, you singing the song too.
You're trying to reinforce the lyric, you're trying to reinforce the changes, and knowing how to shade and do what's appropriate for the different parts of the song.
Because we only had one mic, and that was passed around the whole band, that one mic. So we had to learn dynamics and everything.
When I was young, I hated it. I was just like all of them. I wanted to play the stick.
You always hated to play the brush.
I didn't really develop brush technique until to any degree. I mean, I played brushes because, like Ben said, it was necessary. Many things that you had to do, you had to play brushes. So I did it out of necessity, but I really despised it.
Tony Williams said, he said in a video that I saw, he said, I think whoever invented brushes didn't like drummers.
Well, you know, when we worked the East Side and all the hotels, you had to play brushes. People eating dinner right next to you, and if you hit one of them big back beats, the whole dinner would fly over there.
Tell me this, how is basic brush technique, the basic bounce, different from the basic bounce of a stick?
It's not even nothing.
Well, tell me the difference. For somebody who knows nothing about it, explain the difference to me.
Well, it's kind of hard.
Well, give it a shot.
I mean, to see what he said before was the brushes, you have to develop your own. The way he plays them, and the way he plays them, I can't play it
But aren't certain
because
things
it's really
the
so
same?
personal. It's really
Like playing a role?
To
Or
look at the physics of
some
it.
degree, you can play the brushes like a stick. It's not a problem.
Right.
And you won't get the same bounce that you would with a stick, but you'll still get a bounce.
And you get a sound.
would you recommend learning the rudiments on the brushes?
No.
no.
No?
Here's, Adam has a way of explaining it in the DVD, is that the first step is he's making circles in time. So rather than thinking of up and down strokes, we have circular, oval shapes. So we're moving like across, around the head, where these motions, the whole motion itself needs to be in time and then generate a time.
That's what I asked.
Plus you can do something with your left hand while you're playing time with your right hand.
It's
almost the same as having sticks.
Two rudiments
Develop all
that
these
you
different
can do
techniques.
with brushes.
Right.
Just all you need is two, and that's because you can do that using the switch. Is single and double sticking, because you can say
Right.
or so it's either away from you on one or toward you on one. And if you're going to use double sticking, that's the only rule. Because other than that, if you start getting into all the other rudiments, now you're going to get into stick technique. And what you're trying to do is impress upon whoever's going to bother with this is to get the swish of the brush.
That's what
because any drummer that can play at all, like has any kind of rudimental background, if you're going to use the brushes like a stick, you can do that without a problem.
Yeah.
If you're getting the The double, are you talking about up to a rebound, up to a roll? We're not
No,
talking
you
about
can
switch
It's
pure switch.
back and
It's always
forth.
switch.
You're dealing with a horizontal motion in relation
If
to
you
a
lose a
vertical
switch, then
motion.
Right.
what are you playing with the brushes for?
Yeah,
You now lost the whole
See,
thing.
but
It's lost.
you have some guys that can go this way. And
Right.
this
Right.
way.
Either way,
right, and some guys go like,
Right.
So the horizontal versus the vertical is probably the best way to explain the entire approach.
without a doubt.
The difference.
You have
The
to
brush has
learn.
gotta be on the
Let's say
drum.
lateral motion. Lateral motion.
Is this a real word, circularity?
It is now.
The circularity is the primary thing
And
that has to
here's
be.
another point.
Get your
Ken,
name and paper.
Another point why you wouldn't want to work through the rudiments is because then you are using a stick approach,
Yeah,
and you're going to hear all this ringing in between every stroke, ringing of the drum. And what the main effect that you're trying to create is just a smooth pulse without
Sheer.
that ringing in between.
Remember
So you
Denzel-
want to
remember
feel
that,
a smooth
that
time.
early group of George Sherry, heard Denzel Best on that?
Yeah.
Just a sheet of sound.
Yeah.
John
Those
Lee.
brushes. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, the brushes, it was just a sheet of sound. You know, and that's what it's about.
I like what you said in the DVD. I think you said it that the brushes can be the loudest thing in the band.
Well, you can hear a brush. That's the other part about it.
Right.
You think you can't. People. That's why a lot of drummers don't like to learn, because they think people can't hear them.
Right.
You know, you can take that brush and hit that cymbal, and you can hear that in the theater.
Because it's
At the
ringing.
top. No,
Yeah,
it
but
opens
once you
up.
start trying to force it,
Yeah,
then you
can't
destroy
hear
it.
it.
You
You
destroy
start
the whole.
You're dead.
You're dead.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
dead.
yeah.
That's the part
The
that's
use of brushes can also be very theatrical, you know, because there is a theatrical
Oh, yeah.
aspect.
Yeah.
All the ladies like the brushing.
Ooh, Papa,
Is that
Papa,
Papa
was
Joe.
a wizard with the brushes.
Yeah, so you could, you know, I mean, part of playing the instrument is theatrical. Some drummers really do it to the max, but
Right.
I mean, just the way the way our body movements on the drums, you know, can be very provocative. Thank God.
Yeah, think about all those big band clips and the drummers are
Yeah, right. Yeah.
up in the air.
But you know, I find that if it's forced, it becomes kind of corny.
Right.
You know, if you have the natural movement, and that's what the women like, the natural movement.
Oh, I'm not touching that.
This is the young people's magazine. Keep it clean.
But like the whole thing is like the economy and the efficiency of your motion to try to produce a sound. You know, you don't want it to be extraneous. You don't want to waste efficiency. I mean, to me, the whole thing is to be efficient in how I play, to get the maximum effect with the least amount of effort, with whatever it is, the brush or the stick, and maintain the natural motion and the fluidity that you try to get. You know, not like this, but it's like, you know,
Kenny Clark was another one that was master.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Doing that brushing.
Yeah.
You know, another thing about playing the brushes that you can't overdo it, like you're saying, because you tire yourself out. I mean,
That's right. That's right.
Because the movement that's necessary to get from, you know, it's this kind. You know, it ain't pap pap pap. You know, see, when you're playing with the stick, you're getting something back from the bounce of the stick. So the bounce is kind of helping you. But with brush, you ain't getting nothing back. You know, because it's all. You're not getting any
Another
bounce.
reason young drummers probably don't like it. It takes a lot
But
of
you
work.
get,
it's a lot of work.
what you do
Oh,
get
yes,
back
That's
is the
a
feeling.
big point.
Yeah.
You know what you
It's
get
not an
back is the
instant
feeling,
gratification.
and you
Right.
want that,
Not loud.
you want the
Yeah,
feeling.
the sound is
Yeah,
what
see,
you get back.
because you don't have to play loud to get that feeling. You want to swing, and swinging don't mean being playing loud.
Absolutely.
I've heard drummers play with the brushes, and it's like they've got the right hand kind of playing the cymbal beat, and they're kind of insistent on it. But then it's like, well, if you lighten up that right hand, the whole thing can swing more.
Right.
You know, so sometimes in this situation, less can create a greater effect and be more
As
effective.
John Lewis would say,
It's-
less is more.
Yeah.